I don't beg for love, I'm committed. I put a ring on the game, I'm in it for life. You just chasing goals, trying to monetize. I just press record, let the real decide. Married to it, I don't play about mine. You just visit, I'm there all the time. Married to it, yeah, the show don't lie. You just in it for a moment, I'm in it for life. Yeah, yeah.
I don't need control, I let it breathe. I don't twist the truth just to make it seem. You be setting plays just to flip the view. When it fake debate, yeah, we see through you. Let them talk, I ain't scared of a line. If I'm wrong, I admit it, I stand on mine. You just bend every word, dodge every loss. Look smart for the can, but it come with a cost. I've been locked in, I don't clock out. You watching numbers every drop now. Love for the game, I don't hit a tone. Sound like every move got a price tag on.
For love, I'm committed. I put a ring on the game, I'm in it for life. You just chasing goals, trying to monetize. I just press record, let the real decide. Yeah, yeah.
You just passing through, I'm invested deep. You don't play for real, you just sightsee. Talk heavy like you built for this, but you skim the surface, never feeling this. Casual talk, but you want that throne. Can't play both sides when it's set in stone. All about the clicks, every move too clean, but you can't fake love when it's on that screen. I put time in this, gave nights for real. You counting views, I'm chasing skill. Now it's so clear when the pressure rise. You don't stand on nothing, just improvise.
Ooh, I'm devoted now. Ain't no switching sides when you hold it down. Ooh, I can't play pretend. This a lifetime love. This a different end. I don't beg for love, I'm committed. I put a ring on the game, I'm in it for life. You just chasing goals, trying to monetize. I just press record, let the real decide. Married to it, I don't play about mine. You just visit, I'm there all the time. Married to it, yeah, show don't lie. You just in it for a moment, I'm in it for life.
Woo! Let's fucking go. Get hype, get hype, get hype. All right. Enough playing around. Okay. So let's talk a little bit, okay? I know it's been a minute. So this is like the first stream that I've had in months. So I decided tonight would make a great opportunity for a nice little comeback, right? So that's what we're going to do tonight. Please excuse the hair. I try to fix it. Fuck ever. So we got the good book. This is my good book. Okay, so first off, what is this stream basically going to be about? Well, it's going to be about our good friend Lono, right? And boy, he's had some opinions, especially for the past couple weeks. So I thought today would be a great opportunity because I've seen a lot of people asking this question, and I think I'm going to have you an answer tonight to answer that specific question. And not to spoil it or anything, let's get to the rundown. So, but before we get into anything, here on my channel, there's no member goals. You see how empty it is right over here? No member goals. Just hit the subscribe button if you like the content. Hit the like, whatever. You already know all that good stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and harp on it. Now, gameplay-wise, because I definitely feel that the channel deserves more gameplay than just talking, because I want to actually have a legit gaming channel. So gameplay is going to be kind of put off to the side for right now. And we'll just kind of see how things go, right? And first off, hopefully you liked the setup at the very beginning. You know, a little waiting room, you know, and then working towards, and then having the startup stream or the startup music, you know, a little thing for you. And but yeah. So first off, before I want to give a quick shout out, right quick. If you do not know who this person is, this is Six and Serial. He mainly does live streams. He has no schedule, and it is questionable if he's Filipino or not. So that's kind of the going trend right now. But you know, let him know Arma sent you. And I try to hit up in his live streams quite often, if you can't tell. You know, he does also shorter videos about mainly fanboys. The kind of the main three. You got Marlon, you got Lono, and you got MB. And yeah, doing pretty good. All right, so figure I'd give him a quick shout out. You know, go check him out if you don't know who he is. You might end up liking his streams. And yeah, so before we really get into it, all right, let me kind of go over what exactly I'm hoping to portray to you guys this evening. So, like I said, there's been a question that's been I've seen a lot of people asking, and lo and behold, I actually found the answer. So, straight from the horse's mouth, right? And I think let's just go ahead and get right into it. We'll kind of talk a little bit more, you know, later on. I got a couple things. So this is going to be, yep. So, anyways, let me, okay. Wanted to make sure I got my little deal here going. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to this. So, we have Reforge Gaming. This is a stream from 1 year ago. Where's my good book? All right. This stream is the Avowed release day. Days Gone Remastered criticism, and then GTA 6 Roblox. And we are going to a specific timestamp here. Push this timestamp back just a little bit, so that way we can kind of get our context right. We gotta do this right if we're gonna get into this sort of thing. We don't want anybody out of context here. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead. And we're just going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off with the OG Cope Sip right from the get-go. And like I said, this was basically a year ago when this stream happened. And of course, we're going to have the live chat during his live stream. So, you know, hindsight 2020. I get that, but I think a lot of this is going to make pretty good sense.
When Lono talks in facts and analysis, it confuses ignorant people with being a pony. Dumb world. Okay, this is the problem, PL.
Okay. Just to add a little bit of context, basically I did a little bit of research on his channel, and at the like around this specific time, this was basically when Phil Spencer went on in tirades, and the discussion was basically about Xbox hardware. You know, this was before we found out. Now we're going to be having the Xbox Helix coming out and all that good stuff. So, yeah, this is roughly about that time where he's being called a pony, you know. But we'll listen in.
This is the problem in gaming dialogue in general. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I can whittle this down to a very simple problem, okay? Liars don't care about the truth. If you're a liar, if you're a smear merchant, anybody who doesn't agree with your narrative must be attacked, labeled, and maligned. Why? Because you can't engage with facts. You can't falsify claims that are based on objective data. You can't. It's impossible.
Now, like I said, this is a year ago, but this same mentality still holds true to today, right? So, not much has really changed in a year. But what I noticed that, you know, there will be a fact that will come out, right? For example, recently you would have it would be like Sony is raising the price, right? Right now, that's basically what everybody's talking about. Sony is raising the price on their consoles. The PS5 Pro going up to $900, right? That's a fact. Now, everything else that Lono will say that surrounds that, he tries to mold his opinion into that fact so that if you try to argue against it, well, you're arguing against the fact. And it's like, no. Another great example would be the whole rumors about Sony is going to stop releasing games onto PC. The only thing that's a fact is that I guess Bloomberg put out an article saying that they spoke to somebody on the inside of Sony and they said that. That's the only thing that's a fact, is the article stating that they talked. But you get people like Lono and others that are running it as, oh, Sony is going to do that. You don't know that. Sony never brought that out. But if you try to argue with it, oh, well, you're arguing against facts. Even though it's just a fucking rumor. So.
Why? They're a smear merchant. They don't care about those things.
I love his confidence. They don't care about those things.
It's not a failure of the education system. It's not that people are stupid. It's that there are a huge number of people in this industry that are liars. That's the problem. And then
yeah. And your point is?
they'll label me a liar and a grifter and a pony. Why? Because they can't engage with anything that I'm saying. They simply can't. They can't look at the revenue reports.
Okay. So this is still, even back then, the revenue reports, which I'd be skeptical on how they know any of that, but
The growth. They can't look at the share value. They can't.
oh, not going to give it away. Not going to give it away.
Can't look at objective measurements of business success and say anything other than the label. Oh, you're just a corporate shill. What are you, a shareholder? Actually, I am, yes.
Wait, what? What was that, Lono?
Measurements of business success and say anything other than the label. Oh, you're just a corporate shill. What are you, a shareholder? Actually, I am, yes.
Huh. Interesting. One more time.
And they'll label, oh, you're just a corporate shill. What are you, a shareholder? Actually, I am, yes. I actually moved some of my shares around and bought some of Sony because I think they're going to do quite well. So, yeah, that's an answer to your question. If you're going to say, oh, are you a shareholder? Yeah, I actually am.
Wow. Isn't that fucking interesting? Wow. It's amazing. I want to hear it one more time.
I think they're going to do quite well. Move some corporate shill. What are you, a shareholder? Actually, I am, yes. I actually moved some of my shares around and bought some of Sony because I think they're going to do quite well. I did the same with NVIDIA.
Wow. It's amazing whenever the cat is finally out of the bag. Now, and I have a point to all this, of course. I'm not just like, oh, wow, he's a Sony shareholder. No. There's a lot more to this.
So, yeah, that's an answer to your question. If you're going to say, oh, are you a shareholder? Yeah, I actually am.
Yeah.
But that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this discussion is that there are people that will scream and shout and they'll just buy into the false narratives. And the minute you try to go against the false narrative, well, you'll just be attacked and labeled.
And you see the way that he's going through this whole thought process. It's so vague. It's almost like you don't really need context almost. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, he doesn't really provide much context anyways, so.
Because they can't afford for anybody to get, I'll call it truth pilled. They can't afford for it. They got their people drunk on the lies and the Kool-Aid, and the minute they get a taste of the truth, they're going to go, wait a minute, imagine right now being like, you've been telling me for 4 or 5 years that sales don't matter and that PlayStation's failing and that Jim Ryan's a loser and that these companies, well, why is PlayStation doing so well then? Why? If PlayStation is in such a terrible state, then why are they doing so well? You have to answer that question. Why have they shipped 75 million consoles? Why are they acquiring new users at a higher ratio than previous generations? Why are they hitting record number of MAUs? Why? Where is this coming from? If the narrative that's been circulated for the past 3 to 4 years is to be believed, then how in the world are they doing this? I also always liked the claim that when Xbox gets Activision, PlayStation will have to compete. So PlayStation hasn't been competing this whole time. Well, good golly, Xbox must really suck.
Of course. The whole Xbox bad type stuff. Okay, so let's go back to this real quick. So before we get, so you got the idea. Lono has admitted publicly, not during a coffee, excuse me, a morning coffee. He admitted this publicly, which I could show you right here. It's on the avowed release day, Days Gone Remastered Criticism, GTA 6 Roblox. And you go to 4903, right? And you will find, do with that information as you will, okay? So it's not that big of a deal to me. But anyways, here is how I see it. Lono, being a shareholder, assuming that he still is, anytime Sony has, like, anytime somebody criticizes Sony, and this is going to come very, like you're going to realize this during the next portion of the stream, where it's going to be basically just this last Friday. And that was after the whole Sony putting out that they're going to be raising their prices on their consoles, right? So we're going to, my argument with all of this is that Lono literally argues from that point of view, from being a Sony shareholder. So anytime that Sony receives criticism, especially criticism that he does not like, then you are not only criticizing Sony, but you are criticizing his investment. You are criticizing his pocket, right? To be honest, I could care fucking less. If somebody wants to invest into Sony, Microsoft, Xbox, or Nvidia, I could care fucking less. But I had to step back a little bit and think, is that the reason why he's arguing the way he does? Because you're criticizing his investor or his investment, his money that he's putting in. And I call that conflict of interest a bit, especially if you could be shown that you are, like with Xbox, he's so hard on Xbox. But when it comes to Sony, it's like, bad Sony, ban. Like, barely a fart in the wind. And it's because he has that emotional attachment. Because if you criticize Sony, you criticize his investment. And I don't think he is capable of separating the two. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that Lono tends to show his hand quite easily. Like, for example, the whole Sony shareholder. Anytime he brings that up, Sony shareholders this, Sony shareholders that. Sony is beholden to the shareholders and the angel investors and stuff like that. You hear him say that over and over and over again, and then you start to think, is this guy like a Sony shareholder himself? And sure the fuck he said it himself. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Let's go back to this. Now, with that, and being in your mind, and let's see. I want to go back a bit. Okay. This is where we're going to start. Now, remember, he's not coming at this as a gamer. I don't care if he considers himself as a casual dad gamer. Don't no. He's not a casual dad gamer. We all know he's a fucking tourist that's investing into Sony, Sony the company, So he's an investor more than just a consumer, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and start this one.
The big one. Let's get to the big kahuna, the thing that everybody's ticked about. You guys ready? Let's do it. Well, it's finally happening, and not just the $50 like last time. This is the biggest price jump I think we have seen for a console maybe ever.
Now, watch the slip. Okay.
Numbers first leaked yesterday. I dismissed them. I thought they were way too high. I thought they were fake. So in case you missed it, PlayStation has officially announced a huge price increase for the PS5 Digital, the base PS5, the PS5 Pro, and the PlayStation Portal. Now, for the sake of brevity, I am just going to use the US dollar price changes. Sorry, UK, and particularly sorry to Europe. You guys, the PS5 Digital will be $599, the PS5 will be $649, the PS5 Pro will be $899, and the Portal will be $249. So yes, you're looking at a digital PS5 for $600, $650 for the non-digital, and then the Pro, a whopping $900. Seeing the Pro jump from its original $700 price point to $750 to now $900 feels insane. Yes, it is, I think, at launch, its performance and its price were a great deal. And I've said for a while that the coverage back then of the device was abysmal. It was hitting well above its weight class for dollars to performance. And that's still sort of true, but when it's close to the pre-built pricing territory, I would expect consumer friction. And the base PS5 being just $50 cheaper than the Pro was when it launched, $650 for a console is just a huge ask, with everything getting more expensive in virtually every facet of our lives these days. And yes, there is a global situation that brought this about.
Okay, so just so I'm not going too long and just letting him rambling, because I'm pretty sure in his scripts he tends to just put a lot of filler. Like, yeah, we all know this, but it's not really about this. Yeah, like he kind of states that, you know, $600, $650, $700, that's a lot of, that's a big ask, for which he is correct. I'll give him that. So he gets a W for that.
I get it. And yes, plenty of other tech have done this. Everything's really expensive right now. The PC boys are like, hey, we got here first. Enjoy that price hike, suckers, right? They got here first. They've been dealing with the price hike and the disastrous situation of like trying to build a PC.
Which is kind of funny because Lono was also talking about, Sony would be okay. Like he even talks, I think he'll even mention about it, how, you know, Sony should be all right for the rest of his fiscal year and all this other shit. And like they were just on hopium that Sony wasn't going to raise their prices, but here we are.
For a while now, and now it's coming home to roost at the console world. The obvious worry and concern is what this does to the gaming market itself. PlayStation made it clear last year. They were talking about this in an earnings call. They were very hesitant to increase the price. They know it hurts demand. They know it slows down sales and market saturation. Calling this greedy is just armchair analysis at best. Raising the price does not help.
The fucking cable. You gotta be fucking kidding me. It's like, oh my God. Out of all people to make that fucking statement. Hang on.
They know it hurts demand. They know it slows. Very clear. Last is what this does to the gaming market itself. PlayStation made it clear.
Okay, so everything that he's basically has said was basically padding for the main event, right? Like for his main argument. It's padding in hopes that when he delivers the whole, if it's greedy or not, that is literally the main thing. The main the main criticism, if Sony is being greedy by raising the price of the Pro up to all the way up to $900 fucking dollars. And he's going to argue against that. So everything that he said up to now is literally just bullshit. It's like, okay, what was the point of you saying all that stuff in the beginning?
Last year, they were talking about this in an earnings call. They were very hesitant to increase the price. They know it hurts demand. They know it slows down sales and market saturation. Calling this greedy is just armchair analysis at best.
Out of all people to talk about armchair analysis, out of all fucking people, I guess all you got to do is start a YouTube channel, call it your business, be fan fucking funded, and then maybe sell some coffee on the side. And then all of a sudden you're a businessman and you know all the ins and outs of a mega corporations like Sony or Microsoft and whatnot.
Raising the price does not help them. PlayStation knows they make way more money when 10 people buy a console versus when just maybe 8 people do. If you price 2 people out, those 2 people are not in your ecosystem. If you slow demand by just that amount, you make less money. For every console sold.
And there it is. There it is. That is literally what he's arguing here. Is that he's trying to say that Sony is not being greedy because they know that this is going to hurt them in the long run. They're going to make less money. I can't stand how he says the word money. It's so irritating.
Sold, they get money off that person perpetually, which is why I say the larger concern here is the gaming market as a whole. If you start pricing consumers out of the hobby, it will be difficult to get them back, which means less sales, less money, and more tightening of the reins. It's not a coincidence that the lead up to this were studios being closed like Blue Point and then the 20-person team that was spun up with Jason Blundell. Even Jason Blundell said there was no bad blood. It was just clear that there was a strategy shift at PlayStation. I think PlayStation is battening down the hatches for the impending economic struggles that everybody will be facing. I thought they had enough RAM and production for holiday of this year, which made me think, okay, we'll avoid a price hike until next year. Well, that was obviously and completely incorrect, which really drives the concern that this won't be the last price hike. So buckle up and settle in and try to get a PlayStation 5, a Pro.
But before we get into that, okay? Before we get into that, oh my fucking God. Like this dude straight up, like his entire argument is that the reason why this is not greed is because Sony didn't want to do this. They try to hold off as long as fucking possible, but they're going to fucking do it anyways. It was like, oh, sorry guys, we tried to hold out as long as possible, but we can't. We gotta raise the price. Sorry. The fuck?
Or a portal before April 2nd when these prices increase. So you've got the...
And whenever you watch them, like, just the body language and the, like, facial expressions, like, and, like, I don't know, his white balance is really fucking off. He kind of looks like a vampire a little bit. He needs a little more melatonin. But bro is, like, seriously going through hoops trying to defend Sony. Because, like I said, him being a Sony shareholder, he's got to argue against it. Because if you're saying that Sony is being greedy, then you are criticizing his investment. Okay.
weekend
Just keep that in mind.
to scramble. I'm going to be taking my last base PS5 to GameStop and trading it in for a Pro because I've been wanting to do that for a while. And it's about to get really, really expensive. So like I say, buckle up and settle in because...
No. Fuck no. I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. I have a PS5. Okay? And whenever they first came out with the PS5 Pro, and they said that shit was going to be like $700, I said, hell no. I am not going to buy a motherfucking PS5 Pro because I felt like I overspent on the base PS5, right? And if the PS5 Pro is $700 at the time when it first came out, and then it went up 50, I don't give a fuck if they try to say that the Pisser 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, I don't give a fuck if that's supposed to be like more value to the console. That is like, what the fuck? No. So I decided that as soon as I can, I am going to upgrade my PC. I can upgrade my PC for like a quarter of that amount. Like it's like $200-$300. I can upgrade my PC and I will blow past the fucking PS5 Pro and most likely the PS6. Most likely. I'm not quite sure. I'm not much of a PC guy. I'm still kind of getting into it. But yeah, I'm leaving PlayStation behind. I've been with PlayStation literally all my fucking life. And the fact that they're going this far and they're going to increase the fucking price. This almost just basically guarantees that the PS5 or the PS6 is going to be roughly about $1,000, $999, or over $1,000. Like, what the fuck?
Because after April 2nd,
and then now he's like, hey guys, this will be a great time for you to go ahead and get a PS5 Pro. I bet you would want that, don't you?
it's going to be a bumpy and more expensive ride. But those are just my thoughts, and now it's time to hear your thoughts. 20-minute show opens not bad. I had to go.
You don't want to know my thoughts, homie. Or should I say, homie?
Go through 4 stories very quickly. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Do me a quick favor and go crazy on the like button. Am and home gifteds and all of that.
I'm all right. We're going to kind of push forward just a little bit, all right?
So
bear with me.
Hang on 1 second and reset. Not first, and so rain.
All this fucking begging. All right, we got to get past that.
Pie says good morning. The Saturday evening stream of Climb today. You're going to need to ban feeling a $900 Pro. So,
hold on.
How you guys feeling? A $900 Pro. A $900 Pro. I thought for sure, I was like, oh, they'll do a price hike next year. They've got enough RAM to weather this year, and then they'll bump it by like another 50. No, they bumped it by like what, like 150 each? I mean, the Portal's only going up by 50, but the consoles, it's just ridiculous. UK prices in dollar. Yeah, if you buy it in pounds.
And what I find interesting is this dude's already has 2 PS5 Pros. And then he stated that he was going to take his base PS5 and go get a third one. Like, what the fuck? That PS5 Pro better last you all the way up till the 6. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's $1,000 for.
I guess whenever you sit around begging for money all fucking day, you don't actually have to work hard for it because you probably have forgotten how hard it is to make a fucking dollar. You know, you'll just buy anything all willy-nilly, don't give a fuck.
For the Pro. Isn't it worse in Europe, Paul? I think it's even worse in Europe, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Apologize to Pearl Abyss. I'm not going to apologize to a company that lied and misled the public.
Oh, the Crimson Desert. Oh, shit. Fuck, dude. Oh, that Crimson Desert. Damn you. Hold on. Let me pull this up right quick. Crimson Desert. Oh no. And y'all are going to hear that shit. Okay. I just wanted to check some real quick since we're doing all this. Okay. So yeah, you're going to hear me back in the background.
They should apologize.
The fucking Crimson Desert debacle for the past all last week. And I can break it down for you because guess what? The whole shareholder bullshit is the exact same thing. It literally, there's really not much difference between him sitting here and his real only argument is when it comes to the price hike, it's only because people are saying that Sony is being greedy. That's his literal only issue, and that's the one thing he's going to stick with because he doesn't think that Sony is greedy. And if you say that they're greedy, then you're attacking his investment. You're punching his pockets. Okay, don't be touching his pockets when you're talking Sony. Okay,
they were dishonest. They lied multiple times.
Okay, so maybe we should kind of talk a little bit about this, but I'll let them discuss a little bit about the whole Crimson Desert.
Called
stuff.
them out on their lies and their dishonesty. Fixing a game after launch.
Okay, so now he's basically boiled down his argument when it comes to Crimson Desert that they were dishonest in their marketing. Okay, so I can tell you exactly how the marketing went. So the marketing with Crimson Desert was they showed their game, and Lono himself didn't think that it was actually real, right? Here, let's go a little 1v1 here, okay? So he didn't think it was real. It was yada yada yada. It was I think he mentioned that he was getting mind's eye vibes from the whole situation. So, but his now, I personally haven't heard him make a statement if he's upset because Sony, because I heard this in the grapevine, if Sony didn't get the exclusivity deal, right? So so I don't know if that's really the issue, right? Now, but his issue was it seemed to escalate the moment that Pearl Abyss had a PC or a video that was captured off a PC uploaded onto the PlayStation YouTube channel. And he felt, well, that's disingenuous. I'm not going to argue against that, you know, if it was disingenuous or not, if that's a common practice. I didn't look, to be honest. I don't know. But he goes on, and I did a little bit of research into it, and come to find out that if a company uploads a video like that and it was captured on PC, but it's on the PlayStation, that can affect Lono's share value. Because he is correct. Honest, you know, people are going to think, oh, this looks really good. Their expectations are going to be, well, that's what it's going to look like on my PS5. Now, how far can you say it was dishonest? Well, you could say that it was extremely dishonest, but they did put in the video captured on PC. Now, my question is why is it that it seems like Pearl Abyss is catching all the fucking smoke? And not once. Well, Lono hand waved it, right? When it came to PlayStation or Sony, they're the ones that are in charge of uploading videos. Like, gaming developers don't just willy-nilly go to PlayStation and upload videos to their channel on YouTube. That's not a fucking thing. At least as far as I fucking know. But so where's all this smoke going for Sony? Why is he like I guess at one point he mentioned about how, oh well, you know, maybe they weren't really paying attention. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly. But it was basically hand wave, and I'ma blame Pearl Abyss for that video, because that's going to end up hurting his share value. Now, and just a quick Google search will show that. Now, if I'm incorrect, okay. But I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty confident in saying that that's most likely why he's upset about it. But to add insult to injury, you know, throw a little extra salt in the wound. Lono took this very personally because, hey, your Pearl Abyss is uploading PC footage on the PlayStation, which is going to hurt my share value, and y'all are so I'm sorry. I'm trying to think how I want to put this all together. So anyways, he's not only that, okay. So my mind just went gone. That'll happen sometimes. So not only because I was saying that insult to injury, fucking Will Powers, Lono was sending him video or sending him messages on Twitter, or he tagged him in a post or whatever, asking for console footage, and he didn't like what he received all the way up till the release of the fucking game. He did not like any of it. And to be honest, I don't know. Nobody would know. Only Lono would know what he may have sent him privately in a private DM. Who knows? I'm just kind of speculating. I'm not saying that that's what he did, but he got his ass blocked by Will Powers. And and then he takes a fucking victory lap over that shit. So, but it all comes down to money. That's all that this comes down to, is money. Him not, if it affects his share value, or if he feels like, well, he's going to make this whole argument about the whole, when it comes to the PlayStation side thing, he wants to keep it in the realm of, is it greedy or not? Right? He doesn't want to explore anything else but that, because he feels that he has a strong enough argument stating that Sony is not being greedy. So let's go back to this. Woo, boy. He was feisty today. And you got somebody, this RPG 88. Buy now or cry later. Listen, if I was Lono, the fact that the PS5 Pro, which he has, going up to $900, I wouldn't be telling people to go get a Pro. I would be like, hey, save up to get a PC. If you're going to be paying those fucking prices, save up a couple extra $100, you'll be set. Now, back in 2020, or roughly 2020, 2021, I bought me a PC, right? I had a $1,000 budget. So I took that $1,000. I was able to get a PC, a small desk, mouse, monitor, and keyboard, all under $1,000. I was able to get all of that. Now the monitor was like a little rinky-dink one. It was like $30. And then, but I already had another monitor that been playing off since the PS4 days, right? So since I spent that money, which was about $800, it was less than $900. It was a pre-build, and it was kind of more of a get my foot in the door type of deal. But I can upgrade it for far less now, because I already invested that initial investment. And then I'm slowly going to start, moving more over to PC than PlayStation, because I am not about to spend $1,000 on a fucking console for one that I gotta pay to access my fucking internet, which is ridiculous. It's been ridiculous. That was one of my biggest, before I even knew that this whole console war shit was going online. My brother and I, he was big on Xbox. I was big on PlayStation. And that was the biggest thing. Back in a PlayStation 3, you didn't have to pay to be able to play online multiplayer games like Call of Duty. And that was kind of the biggest flex, you know, being on PlayStation. Well, at least I ain't got to have Xbox Live just to play online. And then, lo and behold, PS4 comes out, and now I gotta pay the price, you know, whatever that was back in the day. And then it continued into the PS5, and that's kind of one of the other reasons why I want to move over to the PC, because then I don't have to pay to be able to play online games. I just need to make my full of running a lot of the new games. So, and it won't cost me $1,000 fucking dollars. Now you could probably say, "Oh, well, RAM is so high," you know. I don't think I need all that. Oh wait, sorry. Switch. I started without y'all.
And the crazy thing is, I thought they were going to weather it this year. There could be another price increase coming. Thank you for the 5 stream streak, Enzafir. I appreciate that. The Dragon King port to PS5 has been canceled. That doesn't make any sense. What Dragonkin port? I have Dragonkin on my console. Is there another game called Dragonkin?
Okay.
I'm telling you, the larger concern is that you're going to price people out of the hobby. You're going to price people right out of the hobby. Like €900 is 1,037. Okay, so UK and Euro are both getting taken to the clean.
Okay, so see, he tries to keep it as if he's being pro-consumer, right? Which he doesn't really believe in the word pro-consumer, I guess. And you know, so that doesn't make it real. It's not a real thing for a company to have pro-consumer actions. You know, yeah, we all know that, you know, companies want our fucking money. Yeah, duh. That's the whole point. But you know, he's trying to be like, oh, well, you're going to, he's trying to play this game where, well, yeah, you're going to price people out of the hobby when you do this. But the underlying argument that he's trying to convey is that Sony is not being greedy when everybody else sees that this is pure greed, that he's trying to be like, no. Because if it was greedy, if they were being greedy, like, why would they be greedy? Because why would they be greedy if they know that it's going to price people out of the hobby, or whatever other arguments that's where it stems from, right?
I thought it was worse for the euro than the pound. Instead of holiday bundles, we'll get increases in the controller sold separately. You have to consider something, okay? There are a lot of people that have been on the fence about upgrading to a PlayStation 5. They've been waiting. The guess. That's like the estimate based off of MAU, right? Yeah, I'll apologize to Pearl Abyss the same day I apologize to Team Kill Media. Yeah, they can both stand in line and wait for forever for those apologies. I don't apologize to people anymore, okay? It doesn't help, especially when you have nothing to apologize for. 53 months from life is great, says keep them coming. Getting us to 227.
Gotta shake that can,
40
boy.
million
Shake
people,
that can, boy.
okay, that haven't switched yet. And GTA 6 was going to be that moment that they finally pulled.
GTA 6, right? Am I right, boys? GTA 6.
The trigger. They're like, well, now I got to, right? You ain't going to miss out on GTA 6, are you? No, you ain't going to miss out on GTA 6. Like, Call of Duty will eventually leave behind, PS4. And when they do, I mean, they're going to have to buy a PlayStation 5 or like a Series.
Not necessarily. No. What the fuck? Oh, well, if you want to be able to play these games, well, yeah, fuck it. Leave us behind, especially if someone doesn't feel like the PS5 or the PS5 Pro is worth their money. No, fuck that shit. Besides, like, in my opinion, the whole PlayStation ordeal, or not PlayStation, Call of Duty, the whole Call of Duty deal, I gave up on them motherfuckers. They did the whole Fortnite bullshit. I'm like, nah, I'm done. Like, no. It was sad because I did get the Black Ops 6. I really liked the Omni movement. It felt amazing to play. But the microtransaction bombarding me left and fucking right throughout that game. Buy this battle pass, buy this skin, buy that skin for this weapon. It was ridiculous. I was just done. I didn't want to do it no more. It was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Series X or something. So when Call of Duty leaves behind the old consoles, you've got 40-something million people that you may have just.
And who's to say that every single one of those 40 million people that are still on PS4s, like, oh, the new Call of Duty, like, really? Have you not? The last Call of Duty came out, like, they don't give a fuck.
Priced out of that upgrade. They're going to be like, wait, what? I waited all this time and now it's more expensive to upgrade? It's supposed to get cheaper. It's one thing to get into the second half of the gen and, like, not do a price decrease, right? You can't do a price decrease, right? If you can't do a price decrease, then people will be hesitant. If you have to actively do a price increase, I mean, come on. And Lockness with a 10 bomb says, boys, let's scramble for the goal.
Woo!
Thank you so much, Lockness, for 10 gifted
Right.
members. I appreciate it so much.
Making that
Keep
money,
the train
boy.
going,
Let's
boys.
go.
Keep that elevator of chat just buzzing
Yeah.
and hit that like button.
Yeah, boys. Let's keep that train going. Let's just keep giving me money, boys. Just keep on going. Let's see who could give me the most money. Either Team Red or Team Purple. Let's fucking go.
Get us past that 200 light count. You're going to price people out. They're going to be like, I'm not going to upgrade. It's not like when you get to the second half of a gen, if you're not decreasing the price. And a 10 bomb from Rissick.
Woo!
We got a 10 bomb member train starting. Is Twitch going to get involved? We'll see. We're sitting at 247. Yeah, $600 for a digital PS5. Like, huh? MTO says this is just greed. You have to understand something.
Ha 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 ha. Yes. Woo. Boy, it's about to get good.
MTO. That's just that's not sufficient analysis. This isn't greed. They're gonna make, you understand they're gonna make less money by doing this, right? Malice.
It's not greed, guys. It's not. They're going to make less money. They did everything that they could. They tried to hold off as long as possible. Trust me, bro.
One comes in with the 5 bomb for Twitch and secures the 250 for Twitch, and Rissick does a single. They're going to make less money. On their earnings call last year, the reason that they were hesitant and the reason that they didn't want to do this, they make less money, brother. This is,
You know, that's kind of questionable. You know, now I'm starting to question, like, why is it that whenever he talks about, well, they're going to make less money. If Sony makes less money, and then his share value, how does that get affected? Because that's where all this stems from, is his own pockets, right?
isn't good for them. You have got to see that. Less people will buy the device. They make more money off of a person buying the device because then they're in the ecosystem and they're buying games. And a single comes in from Rissick and a single comes in from Ward Huff. And we're exactly 20 away from the next milestone. Dodevas jumps in with a member plus and gets us to 256. Thank you so much, Dodevas.
Woo!
What
Gotta get that money in there. Come on. Let's go.
games benefit with the increase? No games benefit. That's what I'm saying. They're going to lose money in this. Less people buy the console. That's less people buying games. That's less people
Okay. Yeah, we get it. What's the point of your fucking argument?
spending on microtransactions. Guess who's back? Welcome back, Dodevas. The idea, you have to understand, the idea that like PlayStation was like chomping at the bit to do this, like greedily rubbing their hands together, like, ooh, I can't wait to raise the price of the console. They didn't want to do this. They
Wow. Okay. So over exaggerate that is like, oh well, they're sitting in some smoky room, like, oh yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait to increase the price of the Pro so we can make more fucking money. No, 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 no. No, they didn't want to do this, guys. They didn't want to. I don't know why he's defending them. Why? Like, if he's a Sony shareholder, why is he defending it? Like, you would think that somebody, like, if he's correct, if he makes, if he knows that Sony, or at least what he says, if Sony is going to make less money from this, I don't, and that's going to affect him. So why is he defending it? The fuck? Now I guess you could say, oh well, he's actually being unbiased about it, and he's being consumer advocate. Bullshit. Okay, this is Lono we're talking about.
Said last year they were going to wait as long as they possibly could. They had shored up stock in the U.S. so they didn't have to. Thank you so much for the bomb, Mr. Doe Devas. He's not just
Let's go. Get that money, money, money.
back for himself. He's paying it forward. Do you see? It's like, this is bad for the market. This is bad for the consumers. This is bad for PlayStation. This isn't good for anybody.
Is it bad for shareholders?
They make less money. It's like they knew last year that when you got to consider something. They were going to bump it by $50 last year, and they waited until the very last moment. They had shored up stock in the U.S. They're like, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to hold.
And I would ask, how the fuck do you know that? You don't work for them. Excuse me, Jesus. I may have to take a drink for a sec. Hang on. All right, we're gonna let this go. I need a cope sip. Holy shit. All right.
Hold, and then they finally do it for $50. They just did it for $150. You have got to think about the reality that this is creating, not just for PlayStation, but for every tech company that's having to do this. People are just uninformed when they start parroting corporate greed. I get it, but in this situation, you need to know what is going on in the world. Thank this and the AI centers for all this. Yeah, I mean the economic realities added to, and the RAM situation. It's just ridiculous. This doesn't bode well for the PS6 price either. No, it doesn't. No. The only thing that could happen to fix this is that the AI bubble bursts and the price of RAM comes crashing back down, and then production for the PS6 can be significantly cheaper, and then they can bring prices back into a reasonable place. Listen, PlayStation knows full well, if you walk out into the market with 1,000...
Okay. I'm still not understanding.
$1,000 console for the PlayStation 6, that will...
I got a feeling that most of this argument, the only thing I can think of is that this benefits him in some sort of way. You know, try to analyze what is being said here.
Murder demand for the device. It's just too pricey. You're pricing people out of a leisure activity. It's becoming like a high dollar. It's never been cheap. We know this, but at that point, visually in the mind of the consumer, it's becoming like a high dollar luxury. It is and always has been a high dollar luxury. But
no. It can be, sure. It can be a high dollar luxury. It can be, depending on what you do, right? if you sit here, hang on a sec. My camera is like, it's off. Hold on. I'm just gonna go dark for a sec. But you should be able to still hear me. We're gonna close this. My camera is like, it's off. It's gonna drive me insane if I don't adjust this. Save. Hang on, I'll be right back. Hang on. Give me just a second. I've noticed my camera will start doing that. It's really weird. It will really be off. Okay. So we come back up. You'll see me just a sec. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. It was starting to like drive me in fucking insane if I hadn't, fixed that. Okay. Let me go back.
Should be a discount right now. Always has been a high dollar luxury.
Okay. So high dollar luxury. So yes, gaming technically it can be expensive. It depends on the kind of consumer that you are. Are you the kind of consumer that you're going to go out and spend, thousands of dollars on a PC and, whatever kind of monitor or flat screen TV or whatever, buying all the most expensive games and, technically with that, like him saying, "Oh, well, this is an expensive hobby. It always has been." It hasn't. It's really not that expensive, especially if you look outside other hobbies that you could have. Boy, I tell you what, it can be very fucking expensive if you get into other hobbies. But you can also do it pretty cheap too. It's not really one way or another. Like you can make it as expensive as you want it to be. But for the most part, to be honest.
But there should be a discount right now on gifted members as well, guys, on Twitch.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
a hype train started right now.
Hype train. Give me money,
The
guys.
AI bubble is already
Make sure you give me that money.
stretching beyond its means. They're already having trouble. Sora got shut down. The Disney contract is gone. Hopefully all these endeavors blow up in their faces, and it'll bring pricing back down. That's what we need to have happen. It's ridiculous.
And then you got somebody in the chat talking about, yet everyone was saying PS6 somehow will be around or cheaper than the Pro. No, I never said that. Fuck no. It was like, no, if the PS5 Pro was going to be $700 on release, and then the PS6, it's going 100% going to be more expensive. And if now the PS5 Pro is going to jump up to $900 fucking dollars, there ain't no way. I don't see the PS6 going to be cheaper. Like, so this person could most likely be right.
Ridiculous. It's not just the RAM. It's the wafer from TSMC. The PS6 2030 looking smart right now. Yeah, they'll just have to push it out. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine right now trying to bring out a new device next year. I just can't imagine. The optics and the reception on price and hardware is going to be terrible for the next 24 months. Wired Rope rolls the member train over with the bomb over there on Twitch. Thank you so.
Woo! Wired Rope, boy. Boy, you get around, don't you, big guy?
So much. Boys, you're trying to get that member count to 500 before the end of today. If you want a Saturday stream with Madam Metallica Matt with 7 months over there on Purple, thank you so much. You guys have got a ways to go. Just pure greed. It's not. Oh my gosh,
bro. I don't know if he does this shit on purpose. Like he knows he's been at this game for some time now, right? Like he's been doing this for a minute, right? Like what the fuck? Like he should know that he's going to get comments like this. Okay? Like I don't get it. Like why act surprised when he sees comments like that, when they say that Sony is just being greedy? He should know that, well, that for one, for him being a local, that is pure bait. Pure bait.
Listen, you are not contributing to the conversation by calling this greed. They don't want to do this. They're going to make less money.
They don't want to do this. They're going to make less money. And where do you get the whole, they don't want to do this, guys? The fuck?
When you drive people away from purchasing your console, when you price people out of the hobby, you make less money.
And that's literally that's all he's got for if Sony is being greedy or not. Are they being greedy? I sure as hell think so, especially if they're going to take the PS5 Pro and jump it up to $900 conveniently after the PSSR or the PSR 2.0 that came out on it. Oh, well, now it's $900. Yeah, I think that's what people are going to end up paying for. You're going to be paying for that pizza.
PlayStation is in the business of getting you in their ecosystem because then they make money off of every microtransaction and every purchase that you make. And a 5-bomb comes.
Woo! We got some more money coming in. Hell yeah, let's go. You know, that's interesting because I think it was in a previous stream where he talked about consoles not really being much of a focal point. Huh. Oh, this has got my... Hold on. Let me do a little investigating here. Google is our friend. Okay. I am so curious right now. Okay. So I asked the question, does console sales affect shareholders, right? So if Lono is saying this is going to make them less money if there's less people purchasing consoles, and it's yes, console sales significantly affect shareholders as they act as a primary driver for a hardware manufacturer's ecosystem revenue, influencing stock prices, dividends, and long-term company relation or valuation. While console hardware is often sold at a loss or narrow margin to gain market share, a loss leader strategy, high sell volume, signals future profits from software, licensing fees, and subscription services. Huh. While console hardware is often sold at a loss or narrow margin to gain market share, a loss leader strategy, high sell volume signals future profits for software. Okay. So if they have high sales, that signals future profits for software licensing fees and subscription services. Huh. Installed base importance. shareholders closely monitor the installed base number of consoles sold because it determines the potential user base for games and services. A smaller user base restricts revenue, while a large one okay, so yeah, a high return. Okay, cool. But I still don't get it, guys. I really don't. Oh. Okay, let's go back to this.
Comes in from Grubby over there on purple, and then a 10-month renewal from Jorge. Thank you so much, Mr. Jorge.
Ooh, the money rolling in. Let's go, boys.
You have to understand, it isn't greed. Like, people are going to say, oh, you're defending Sony. No, I'm not defending anybody. This is the reality that we're in, is that companies are being faced with rising costs. They have to raise prices on us. When they raise prices on us, we buy less. When we buy less, they make less. And it can spiral to an even worse scenario, because then they're going to say, well, we're making less, so now we need to raise the prices for the people who are actually spending money. So game prices could go up. Microtransaction prices could go up. Subscription fees could go up. They're going to make the money back. Explain how it's not greed. Greed is an oversimplification of the situation. Greed would be, well, we want to make more money off the console, so charge people more money. That's not what's going on. There's economic realities threatening their margins. They can't allow those margins to be threatened. They can't. Those margins get threatened, and then guess what? They face shareholders. They face loss of jobs.
You remember how we talked about the whole shareholder thing? Huh. Interesting.
They face way worse than just like, oh, we've got consumers that are angry. This is not defense of Sony. If Sony wants to make more money, this is the worst way to go about making more money. You're driving people away from purchasing your hardware. It is quite literally the worst thing they could do to make more money.
Man, it's like he's like talking out of both sides of his mouth, right? Like that's what it seems like. It almost seems like that's what he's doing. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth, talking about how, you know, it's only because he's trying to argue against if Sony is greedy. That's it. That's all that's going on here. He's using that because he's like, well, they're not being greedy because this is a bad way to do it. They're just doing it because they have to. And if they have to, the reason why they have to is because they will suffer the wrath of their shareholders and angel investors. Huh. Interesting.
That's the reality. It's like they're.
And it's funny how he says, if you have 10 people and only 9 or 8 can purchase whatever the product is, then you're going to lose out on more money. Not if you raise the price. You basically raise the price to be able to offset those other 2 people that are no longer going to be participating in whatever that activity is. If that was the case, Lono wouldn't have his memberships up to $6 a month, you know, where most people I've seen are usually about $1, $2, $3, because he knows that if he sets it up at 6, then he doesn't have to have as many. So for him to get $6, he only needs 1 person, versus if he set it at $1, he would need 6 people. Not considering the 30% that YouTube takes. So does it really? I don't know.
That last year, when they were going to raise it by 50, they didn't want to. They were like, we've shored up stock in the U.S. They were going to hold, as long as they could. You sound like Defense Force right now. You sound like I don't want you hanging out anymore, Prosy. I can't stand your attitude and your intentional gaslighting. Just
Damn. Damn.
Mods, ban that motherfucker.
Yeah. Ban that motherfucker. All right. Hold on. I got you.
you can want to be banned. Oh.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of his stream. Boy, what are you doing?
Get the frick out, Prosy. You're not welcome. If he's in the
10 out of 10 ban hammer. Oh, it was fucking chef's kiss. Oh, that was a goddamn home run.
Discord, kick him out there too.
Woo! He even said get his ass out the fucking Discord. Damn.
Twilight coming in with a 10 bomb. That's right. Let's just push him out of the chat with a 10 bomb.
Ooh. Hey, bro, if you're seeing this, you come on over to my channel, all right? I ain't going to treat you like that, okay? You want, and that goes for anybody. Anybody that gets banned by this dumb motherfucker, you just come over to my channel. It's cool. We can hang out. We can chill.
Thank you, Twilight. This is not Defense Force. This is
100% fucking Defense Force, bro. Just because you say, this is not Defense Force. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm done arguing. Like, the fuck?
terrible. It's bad. It's bad for the consumer. It's bad for the companies. It's
Yeah.
bad for the studios. That's not defense.
Is it bad for the shareholders? Yeah. So why are you defending this? Like, the fuck?
If you want me to just sit here and do the ignorant diatribe, call it greed thing, there are plenty of other channels that you can watch and do that.
And those channels are far better than yours, bro. Oh, since you like to, you know, your channel is my business, at 1 star. 1 star.
You can do that anywhere else.
Wouldn't I recommend?
You
No.
can't.
I'm just kidding.
You
Dude, this is hilarious. I find it as a guilty pleasure to listen to people that try to act like they're far more intelligent and they end up saying a lot of stupid shit. Someone postures themselves like, I am above you, I am far more intelligent than you. And it's like, I find it very entertaining to listen to somebody who talks like that and literally do fucking somersaults. But I'm trying to figure out why. Why? The why is my question.
can get that anywhere on YouTube. That's not informative. It's just, it's greed. It's greed. They're greedy.
What is informative about your shit? Like, seriously, you put it, okay, so Sony puts it out that, hey, we're increasing the price of the consoles, right? Across the board. All their consoles are going up. And your response is, well, they tried to hold out as long as they could, so this was inevitable. The fuck? And, like, you agree that this helps, or this actually hurts them more than it does help them, but it's only to try to hide the fact that, or try to argue against if they're greedy or not. And that's like, literally, that's it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of insight with this.
Okay, what do you want to say after we say that? Do you want to have an actual conversation? You're
You can't really have much of a conversation when you're banning everybody.
definitely defending Sony. When Microsoft did it, you bashed them. No, I did not. No, I didn't. Where did I bash Xbox for raising prices? Anytime hardware prices have gone up, what have I said? What have I said? I said everybody's doing it. It's the reality. There are headphones more expensive in the Asian market every month, right? There are motherboards and RAMs getting more expensive. I didn't bash Xbox at all. I didn't. I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this.
Okay. Sorry about that. Wrong button. Sorry about that. Hang on a second. Ah. Okay, expecting. Sorry, here, let me. I'm gonna have crickets here for a second. Question how the rising costs will affect earnings, forcing Sony to increase the cost of hardware. Okay. Potential sales dampening. Analysts suggest that this price hike is expected to dampen video game market growth. Well, yeah. It could lead to sluggish console sales, as witnessed by the 16% decline in PS5 sales in the key October-December quarter, according to the data early 2026. The high cost of components is forcing Sony to consider delaying the next console generation, PS6, to 2028 or 2029, which would be the longest gap between generations in the company's history. I wonder if that's it. Like, because of the price hike, it forces them to increase the price because they gotta. Because if they don't, it just seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. To be honest, it's like, what the fuck? All right, hold on. All right, I'm gonna bring you back.
I said this is bad. I said this is bad for the consumer. I've never been like, oh, I can't believe Xbox is doing this. There's not a single clip of me saying that Xbox is bad for raising their prices. I wasn't like, yep, they're greedy, they suck. I didn't say that about them because that's not what's going on. There's not a single time in the history of prices of hardware going up where I'm like, yep, they're greedy. I've always said it's not as simple as that. It's never been as simple as that. Silver Subaru, thank you so much for the gifted member. You're flat out lying at this point? No, I'm not. I have never taken that position. I've been consistent on this. It's never driven by greed. Like, yep, they're just greedy. I've always said every corporation is pro-profit, and they're going to do everything they can to protect their margins.
Okay. Woo. I don't know, Sigs. I might be. I tell you what, my freeze frames are getting pretty slick here. Anyways, man, this is crazy. It's to be honest, when it comes to like the whole Xbox thing, I'm not quite. I don't think he's ever like, oh well, because they're greedy. You know what? That would be a good investigation to go through to see like what he has said whenever the Xbox increased their price. I bet I'm gonna switch over here. Xbox price. price increase. Okay, so there's actually a couple of things here. So 5 months ago, Xbox News, Game Pass price increase and hardware plans in doubt. And then Xbox Game increase reaction. Dark. Let's see. Xbox News. The Xbox next gen console sounds expensive. That was 5 months ago. Let's see. Xbox News, the aftermath. A lot of that was like 5 months ago. This was like Xbox Game Pass must change. Xbox News, ABK has backfired. Game Pass price increase. Huh. And the PS5 price increase like 3 years ago. Well, it looks like there's like technically let's see. Nope. A lot of it's mainly like Game Pass or not really the console sales. It's not looking like Xbox. That was like 3 years ago. I was not in it whenever he was going through all that. Okay. So he's going through the whole like pro profit. I'm sorry, I'm trying to.
Experience GTA 6 the way gaming gods intended.
Okay.
Is still
So
in the hobby. You don't want that. You want this situation to get rectified by the AI bubble bursting. We need the economic climate to calm the frick down. And then, hopefully, late stage this gen, they can drop the price and get people to flood back in. That's what I'm hoping. People are like, oh, they'll do another price increase and they'll never come back down. I don't know about that. I could see a late gen bum rush. Listen, drop the price. We can finally do it. Things have calmed down. RAM has settled down. This has settled down. Drop the price and get people to like bum rush in.
wait. Hold on. Okay. Huh. I wonder if this buy low and sell high. I wonder if that's what this is all about. Huh. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, let me see if I can break this down. So possibly Lono understands that the price of everything is going to the price of the console is going to go up, but it's going to hopefully come back down, right? So when it goes up, the share value is going to, I would assume, is going to drop. Now, this would give him the opportunity to be able to buy more shares. So if they drop the fucking price and then people start flooding in like he just said, all of a sudden his fucking share value goes through the goddamn roof. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. Give me just a second. My camera is doing this stupid shit again. I need to find out why it's like lagging behind like that. It's so annoying. That's going to drive me insane. And technically, this is actually a new camera. Okay, I think we're good to go. So, I wonder if that's why. Now, this is pure speculation. I'm not saying that this is it at all what it is. But I kind of wonder if that's why he's taking this the way he is. Like, he's taking this approach to it. Is because, like he said, you know, the price goes up and then it will force the company to drop them back down. So if the price goes up, the demand goes low, share value goes lower, and then these guys could buy low. And then when Sony decides to drop the price, because I'm pretty sure at some point, so maybe this is actually more of a future look. Like, yeah, it's going to look bad now, but the investment is going to be worth it in the end. I wonder. That's just, like I said, that's pure fucking speculation. I ain't got a fucking clue, but I'm trying to understand why he's willing to say all these things about how this is going to price people out of the market. Almost like he wants to be able to force this, like force Sony's hand to drop the price. But, you know, if the share value goes down, then he could buy more share, and then it will bum rush back up if Sony drops the price. After they've weathered this whole RAM shortage or RAM price hike and all that shit. That's just my speculation of why he's kind of talking both ways.
You can't just keep going up. You can't. You'll lose your footing. You'll lose your inertia with consumers. Like, you're just gonna be people like, I'm not buying a freaking console for $1,000.
No.
I said that earlier. Don't do me like that. I am going to do you like that. Pause. I am. Listen, you can sit there and cackle and laugh at people who didn't get a Pro yet. You're not going to be laughing if the situation gets bad for literally everybody who already has the console too. Games go up to $80, $90. Who the frick knows? PS Plus goes up again. That's all coming, by the way. They know.
Well, we also know that, yeah, they'll have to raise the price, especially for subscriptions. And it's probably going to go up because there's going to be less people buying the PS5 Pros or PS5s because the prices are too fucking high. So they're going to ramp. The money is going to come from somewhere in order to satisfy the investors and the Lono shareholders, you know.
They know that this will cause instability within market demand, and so their sales projections for the PS5 and the Pro are going to be diminished by this. So there's probably a PS Plus price increase coming as well. Looks like GTA 6 may actually cost $100. Oh my gosh, hopefully not. $5 from Trinagi. Thank you so much. Nova says you also need price drops to encourage software sales. If you're spending $600 to $900 on the hardware, you're less likely to have software attachment rates that you want. That's an excellent point by Nova. We're not even talking about the people that will still buy the console, and they'll feel so squeezed by the entrance price, they'll spend less money in that first couple of months that they have the box. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, so you're going to price people out of buying.
Okay, so to me, I just don't think that this is the right reaction. The reaction is odd. It's odd. There's something going on because it seems like, okay, if you know that this is going to hurt your share value, then what? Unless the only other explanation I could think of is maybe he sold off his shares. I don't fucking know. Like I said, me coming to the conclusion, but I still think he still has shares with Sony because he brings it up. Like every once in a while he'll bring that up about how much leverage the Sony shareholders have. So he's talking about himself basically.
On the PlayStation. Then
But my point was like my reaction is like, hey, you know, if my money is going to be going down the fucking toilet, fuck, Sony, what are you doing? Why are you raising the prices? Like, you would think that that's the case, but I feel like there's some underhand thing, you know, and that's the reason why he's pushing back on the whole notion that, you know, Sony's not being greedy. They tried to do the best that they could, almost as if these if he's the Sony shareholder, I don't know if he's in on meetings or something like that they'd talk to the shareholders. I don't know. But you know, he's falling for the whole, you know, corporate speak about how, you know, it's okay, we're going to be able to weather the storm and all this kind of stuff.
there's the people that are going to buy the PlayStation. They're going to be like, well, Jiminy Christmas, I just spent $700. I'm not going to buy any games right now.
What about the ones that are spending $1,000 fucking dollars? Like, that'd be crazy enough. They're not going to spend that much more money on games. You know, support the devs.
I'm not going to buy any games. Even the people that still buy into the console are going to spend less money. That's the concern. You can shout and say greed all you want. You're not doing any analysis. The analysis would be, this is going to
Excuse you. I am analyzing you very closely. Thank you.
have ramifications that will hurt all of us. And the idea that, like, PlayStation is doing this gleefully and greedily, they know what this is going to do. They know the danger that this poses to their business. This isn't like oh, that's fine. No, yeah, the market will totally respond calmly to a $150 hardware price increase. They know that this is bad for them. They know it. They know they're likely to have a bad fiscal year because of this. Now, GTA 6 will make up for it, which is probably why they're willing to do it so early in the no, this is late in the fiscal period, but it's coming in before the new fiscal period rolls over. Next fiscal period, this
So we're banking on GTA 6, GTA 6, GTA 6. We're banking on that.
they'll take a hit from this. But again, I think they're probably doing it because they're like, well, we can balance it out. We'll still be able to balance it out and have a good year because of GTA 6.
I honestly think that he knows that his share value is going to go down, but he's very confident that it's going to bounce back up. So, and you got the notorious SpongeBob lean here.
When you're in the business of selling a game, this is more concerning because that's like the only thing you're doing. PlayStation can get GTA 6 to come in, they can raise a price on a PS Plus or something, or they can just make money off the microtransactions of the existing consumers in games like Warzone and Fortnite and others, and that's when you end up with the games will be hurt more than the platform situation. It sets a crazy precedent for the PS6. You know what's crazy? This is one of the only times that I might end up being right about something, and I don't want to be. Do you remember when I said I said this a couple years ago, because when the PS5 Pro dropped at $700, I said, well, with the current trajectory of inflation, we could be looking at a $1,000 console in the PlayStation 6, and people thought I was crazy. They're like, that's insane, Lono. They would never do that. And I was like, look at the inflation rates, man. It's bad. The projections are bad.
So, by that fucking logic, buy a PC. If you're going to spend $1,000, if you're going to end up having to spend $1,000, buy a PC. That should be the last thing that should be coming out your mouth. Buy a PC, guys. leave PlayStation behind. Show them that if they're going to be raising their fucking prices like this, that is bullshit. It's greedy, and we're not handling this. We're not going to do this. I would rather if I had to choose between a PS5 Pro at $1,000 or a PC, I would rather spend less money to upgrade my PC. Or I could spend a little bit over that, like a couple extra $100, and I will blow that PS5 Pro out the fucking water just for a few extra $100. And then I'll be set for probably the next generation or two.
10.
But that's we're not talking about that. No.
Mr. 1030 with a $5 super chat. After development,
We're going to sit here and tell everybody, hey, buy a PS5 Pro this weekend before the price hike.
marketing failures this year, Marathon Crimson Desert, more pain with price increases. Sony and game sales are not looking good. This is exactly what I was talking about. Sony plans to monetize existing PS5 gamers as a way to avoid rising console prices. That was written in February of this year. They were already looking at it. The CFO addressed the ongoing concerns about how the company was going to handle the current memory shortage. Sony had secured minimum quantity necessary for 2026, including end-of-year holiday season. That's what made me think that they were going to avoid the price increase. Yeah, I can't wait for those videos, Echo Doctrine. Sony's raising prices to recoup the money from Marathon. Yes, those will be just such intellectually sound videos.
No. I don't even think I've seen a single video that said that. What the fuck? Bro, oh my god. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I hadn't really went through all of this myself.
Can't wait for those videos to be out there in the ether. Their scripts will be,
but we're exceeding 2 hours right now, so
just wonderful. You're gonna be spending $1,000 to experience GTA 6 the way gaming gods intended.
Okay. So, I think I've made my point. I'm pretty confident that I've made my point. Oh. So, this whole defense force when it comes to Sony is odd because for some odd reason he's gonna know that it's gonna hurt his share value, but I think he got some people like in his ear explaining how, oh well, this is normal, like, you know, this is gonna happen, things like this is gonna happen. So, I don't know. It's fucking weird, to be honest. And, like, anytime that Lono decides that he wants to have an argument or he wants to backfire on anybody when it comes to Sony, try to remember the fact that it's because he's a Sony shareholder. He owns shares with Sony. And that's why he's such a defense force, the Sony defense force. Just kind of put a nice little bow on it, right? So, but anyways, so I have other things going on in the works for future content. And I guess mainly for if I ever feel like, you know, we need to do it. If I feel rambunctious and or something comes up that I feel like I need to, you know, give my 2 fucking cents. But yeah, I'd like to get more gameplay in. Trying to figure out the best way because I was trying to do the, you know, kind of playthrough. But I think what I'm going to do is maybe like just pick a title and just play the game, but try to pick games that I can spend more time, you know, more or less talking with my chat openly. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the game. the game can literally just be the background, you know, and you just kind of come hang out, try different games, and but I want to spend time in those games at the same time. You know, I'm not like one of these fucking tourists like Lono here, the touring shareholder, you know. And at this point, after doing my little research that I did, I don't see him just being a fanboy anymore. It all comes down to money, and how does it profit him? So that's the way I see it. Anyways, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here, and yeah, this was great, a great comeback to the stream, and we'll definitely, I'll be scheduling another one here pretty soon. Hopefully sometime this week, if everything pans out all right. And either I'll do gameplay or something like this. And be sure to like, you don't necessarily have to share my content, but if somebody wants to go out there and you know, if they're kind of putting the pieces together about Lono, and I gave you a timestamp. Once again, the timestamp is the avowed release. Let's see. I could probably go ahead and pull it up here. Ah, damn. Dude, we'll go to this one. Let me see if I could. Hang on a second. Let me get this. Let me get this for you. Let's see. Let's see. Remaster. Okay. This guy right here. I'll switch it over to this. This is the stream that you're going to be looking for. The one that, I don't know if you can see, you can't really see my cursor, but it's the avowed release day, Days Gone Remastered Criticism, and GTA 6 Roblox. And you go to timestamp, you can make it there to the 4903, roughly around that point, maybe a little bit. But that's where you'll find. That's where you find what you need to know. So, but I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm going to pull this up. All right. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. Thank you for joining. If you see this, you know, later on down the line, you know, in the future. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. And until we meet again, I'll see y'all Starside.
I don't beg for love, I'm committed. I put a ring on the game, I'm in it for life. You just chasing goals, trying to monetize. I just press record, let the real decide. Married to it, I don't play about mine. You just visit, I'm there all the time. Married to it, yeah, the show don't lie. You just in it for a moment, I'm in it for life. Yeah, yeah.
I don't need control, I let it breathe. I don't twist the truth just to make it seem. You be setting plays just to flip the view. When it fake debate, yeah, we see through